Hey, I'm at the hobby store. Look what I found. The new Wraith 1.9. Oh, telephone. So the new Wraith 1.9 has actually 1.9 tires on it, and it has the SCX10 2 axle. These are the full axle, the one-piece axle. They are not the one that comes in multiple pieces. Front end looks kind of different because they do have the bar that in front. It looks like it actually breaks away, so if it's like your servo saver. So that's kind of cool, different. And don't know if that's going to hold up through time, but time's going to tell. I like that they have the wheel wells in here, but I wish they would have went farther up with them. But for the price, you can't complain, because this rig is going to be interesting and nice, because there is still a lot of upgrade to do on this. But for now, for somebody that's getting into this, this is a perfect truck. You do get the plastic links, uppers and lowers. They did make them different. They are thicker on top, and on the bottom here they're a little skinnier. So they should be a little stronger than the old ones. And you see that the axles are the one-piece axle. Battery is now in front, and it does take a full-size battery. The hobby store here checked it out earlier, and it does take a smart battery. Here's the connector, and the battery goes in the side, in the front. There we go, took a piece of paper out. It's not new anymore, just bought it. Cage looks to be the same on top, but it's completely different on the bottom. It is the transmission of the SCX10 2. I'm not going to start taking this puppy apart, but you do have the skid plate, and you have the side skid plate also, which is kind of interesting. Now keep in mind, this is a class 3 rig, because it does not have rails from the front to the rear like a class 2 does, or a class 1. So if ever you're going to compete with that, you will compete with the big boys with the big 2.2 tires and the wide axle. So this is a nice truck to go down the road with, to go down the trails with, and do some crawling. But to compete against the other 2.2s, you're going to have issues. But the inside look nice. Lots of cool little details. It does not have the full figure, in other words, it doesn't have the feet. At the back there's absolutely nothing, but you could put a bed here and actually put some scale accessories. The scale motor, which is the receiver box, waterproof receiver box, is kind of cool because it does act as a motor at the same time, which is interesting and looks kind of cool. The shocks are the plastic one, plastic caps, plastic shock. But hey, I've been running those shocks on my truck for ages and they're still good. So there's nothing wrong with those shocks, unless you have the spare money and buy something else. One thing interesting that the hobby shop told me about are these things right here. They do not know what these are for. So there's two brackets here that looks like it's for either sway bars or something. They don't know. We're trying to figure it out, unless they're going to use this body or this cage for something else that's coming up. But it's interesting that it has those brackets at the back. But I love the scale details that they have at the front grille also. It really makes it look scale. They have the front grille and they also have the rear grille on that. The LEDs come with it, and those lights looks very nice. They did a good job on the details, that's for sure. And that's the little guy that you can pull behind him. And just for a size comparison between this guy, that guy, and the TRX4. So basically, here you go, you have all three of them, and that's a size comparison between the two guys. Wheelbase on them is a big difference when you're looking at them. But there is a big difference of the size. Well, that's my quick view of the new Wraith 1.9. Looks like a nice little truck. Would be a nice rig for my son to play with in the back of the yard. I really like that they went with 1.9 tires. I really like that mod on the original Wraith when people actually did that and put the SCX10 axle on it. It just looks nice. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.